And what is up, Peter Peeps? Welcome into a special playoff edition of the Peter Cast post game here after the Buccaneers put a hurtin' on the Philadelphia Eagles at Raymond James Stadium. 31-15, the finals total in that game in the Super Wildcard round. I'm Steve Carney, along with Ren Dax. You can tell I'm in a much different layout than I am normally. You can see a hockey game behind me. I'm actually at Amalie Arena doing after finishing up University of South some work for the University of South Florida, but certainly had the Bucs game on here for today. Ren, I always like to start by first saying hello.
Hello.
I'm curious. I always love to get your thoughts overall on the game to start things off. And so, obviously, I don't think that you can. For me, I mean, you can nitpick certain things,
Right.
but a playoff win at home by at least two touchdowns, there shouldn't be too much bitching and complaining.
Yeah, the Eagles won the toss and deferred, and then the Bucks went down and scored a touchdown. But we've seen this many times, as Corey likes to talk about when he comes on. It's like, okay, we score, but then we always give up a score. It seems like every time. And I'm like, okay, the defense can just hold, and they went 3-and-out, and I think the Eagles actually lost yardage on that first drive, and then the Bucks didn't score. That was when Tom was still throwing the ball to Perryman and Tyler Johnson. That stopped after drive 3, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear Brashad Perriman or Tyler Johnson's name. I don't think until once the second quarter started,
Yeah,
you didn't hear
yeah.
any of either of their names. They were out of the picture.
Yeah, and then he went to, his triplets, which I've been talking about, for years about that's all he really needs. It was Gronk, Evans, and sort of early it was Bernard, and then it turned into sort of Keyshawn Vaughn there. And, the Bucks, the defense looked good, and Todd Bowles' defense actually, their game plan coming out the gate worked and worked really well. I thought they had a nice answer for Hurts with his running ability, even though they did have that sort of that counter backside ISO with offset pulling guard that seemed to get like 7 yards every time. When he wouldn't get tackled, he just run out of bounds type of deal. But that was the only thing that worked for them until late in the fourth quarter when they got a couple of touchdowns to make the game look a lot closer than it was. But I mean, I think it was 2 touchdowns in the first 3 times the Bucks had the ball, and the other one was because of the old Tyler Johnson and Perryman did it too. Like they all kept sort of throttling it down because they didn't want to run into the other side of the zone coverage, and Brady was throwing them. I don't want to say he was throwing them the other side of zone coverage. He just wasn't throwing them for them to throttle down, and we had some early incompletions there, but I thought it was a good game plan by both. I'm very, very happy for Keyshawn Vaughn. I mean, I just kept saying, like, just don't let this kid get snake bit. Just quit fumbling, like, quit dropping the ball. Like, it was just, and AB's been talking about this guy since he got here about how good of a back he is, and we're all just going, huh? Like, okay, like, but I need to see it. I thought he played well. Bernard on that third drive, sort of turned in. Maybe it was the first drive. I'm sorry. He became the player we thought we were going to see coming out of the gate at week 1.
Yeah.
But of course, Leonard Fournette turned into a very good pass catching and blitz picking up back. So Bernard really didn't get in a lot. Then he got hurt. So he's back and he looked good. And again, the defense I thought played well even without SMB. I don't know if you can completely say it was the return of Levante David as far as, the way the defense sort of played as well or as stingy as they were, but it sure helped. It was funny, I was on a Eagles pod earlier this week, and I kept talking about, they were talking about Shaq Barrett, his knee, and is he going to be the same? And I said, well, the thing about Shaq Barrett is it's like you don't really notice it is that what he's doing down the field. And he's making tackles like on the opposite sideline, 6 yards down the field. He's hustling. He's a playmaker. Besides his sack ability and he's almost there making plays. And then like it's a 12-yard out, and there's a guy tipping the ball to himself, and it's the defensive end. And it's like, what's he doing down there? Well, we all know that's what Todd Bowles does. And yeah, so Shaq made a play, a couple of turnovers, gassed by the Eagles, sort of back to back there, and just blew the game wide open. And don't know why Brady and the starters are in the fourth quarter, but no one got hurt, so whatever. But I'm sure what we're going to hear all week is how Bruce Arians punched a player in the head.
Yeah, well, thankfully it was his own player. You didn't go all Woody Hayes and punch another player. But yeah, going after Andrew Adams, and I don't know what Adams was doing.
He was pulling a guy off the pile.
Yeah, but I saw BA because I had the volume down here in the studio, so I could only see what happened. I didn't hear what had actually happened. But you see BA going out there and taking a swipe at Andrew Adams of all people. And it was like, whoa, what's going on? I'm like, he's not happy. BA, whatever Adams was doing, BA was absolutely just angry. And so I was like, my God, you can't believe that BA, and especially a injured BA looking to try and avoid having Achilles surgery, is out there trying to take a swipe at Andrew Adams. So, but I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot about that.
Yeah. After that, you saw him with his Achilles iced. They had it on the broadcast where they showed it, and he's all wrapped up, and you can see the ice bag sticking out the back. That's probably the play that did it. He was doing pretty good until he had to turn the jets on and sprint that 4 or 5 feet to get Adams in the helmet. And then after he cooled down, he realized that he has torn his Achilles even further and needs to ice that down. So, I mean, there were some others.
By the way, I want to go back to what you were mentioning about Levante David. While Levante David may not be the Levante David that we saw for a large majority of this season, what Levante did do is allow the guys to get back into their comfortable roles. And you saw a ton of pressure on Jalen Hurts. And you mentioned the good job that the defense did handling RPOs. I mean, Hurts had a couple of plays that, he ran for a couple of first downs. So, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but I agree they did a very good job of handling the RPOs for the most part. But they got a ton of pressure on Hurts, which I loved seeing. And it forced him to become check down central. He became the king of check downs there, because there were a number of times when, like, Devontae Smith was open. Like, TV showed it a number of times. Hey, here's. Oh,
you didn't have. That's right. You said you didn't have the sound up, did you?
Yeah. Here's Devontae Smith. They
oh my God, Troy Aikman must have he almost pulled his hair out how many times he's talked about not going Devontae Smith, because he must have said it. I swear to God, Carney, at least 8 times about how the Bucs are playing single man or man to man on the outside, and then refuses to throw the ball deep. And he just harped on it. And then Jalen Hurts did take a couple of deep shots and overthrew both of them by good 6-7 yards. So, I mean.
Yeah, but you saw a lot of checkdowns. You saw a lot of throws to Dallas Goedert instead of going out wide. They decided they wanted to throw to Goedert, which is fine by me. I had Goddard in DFS this week, so
there you go.
I was like, I got to take somebody from the Eagles, so I'll take Goddard, and that worked out to be pretty good for me. But I was much happier that they decided that they wanted to go check downs, that they wanted to stay away from going wide. Having, whether it's Quez
going deep wide, they went wide, but they went wide line of scrimmage wide.
Yeah, but they didn't throw the ball down the field. Like,
no.
You didn't see, Hurts did not throw the ball more than maybe a handful of times beyond 15 yards. Like, it seemed like almost everything was, from the yellow line to the line of scrimmage. So
yeah, and half of those were because he had to. Like, it was like 3rd and 17.
Yes,
and he had
Whitehead's coming down, breathing down his neck.
Yeah, and he had to push it downfield. There was a little spot there where it was like I thought it looked like the Bucs almost had an interception, like 3 plays in a row, because it was like it was like 1st and long, 2nd and long, and it was like right at the end of the half around there. You're right. And so he only really pushed the ball, wanted to push the ball, or wasn't forced to push the ball downfield only 2 or 3 times, and then there was just another 3 to 4 times where he had to because, you know, it was 3rd and 20. But
Yeah. Yeah. So then you kind of have to. But,
yeah.
But
Yeah, so everything was good. I mean, I'm sure everyone's going to watch the Tristan Wirfs, see what he's doing. I thought it was. I was happy. I'm like, okay, Wirfs is back in, no problem. He's fine. But he was out. I mean, literally, he was out there on one leg.
Yeah, he's
like,
a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
That was irresponsible. I mean, to say the least. I don't care how he talked himself into it or whatever, but I mean, he was out there hobbling on one leg, and it took him like 2 plays before he was back down again and gave up a sack during those, those 2 plays.
Yeah, Ryan Kerrigan ran him over.
Yeah. You know, and then we saw Jensen go down, and I don't know if you're following on Twitter, but he like pushed the training staff off him and wouldn't let anybody help him off the field, and like was all huffy and puffy when he went into the injury tent and came out and sat on the bench and, you know, didn't miss a play pretty much. So, because the Bucs ended up scoring a touchdown. We might have missed the extra point. I don't know. I'm sure he's on the extra point team.
So he doesn't snap. So
no, but you know, there's a lot of fat people in there. Like I know Vea's out there and Golson's probably out there because he's tall. But anyway, so you know, the Jensen thing was scary, but it seems to be all for naught with that. So yeah, Tristan seems to be the big thing because then Josh Wells was limping around, and you know, just did what Josh Wells does, which is, you know, oh, okay, he's doing fine. Oh, no. Okay, no, he's not doing fine. And then, like, okay, he seems to be okay. Okay. Oh, no, he's not. No.
Yeah, I mean, they did the same thing. Or I should say, Kerrigan did the exact same thing to Josh Wells that he did to an injured Tristan Wirfs. I was like, that shows you, you know, Josh Wells is about the same as an injured Tristan Wirfs out there. Tristan Wirfs on one leg is Josh Wells on 2.
Yeah, it wasn't
exactly the same.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, that's for sure.
No.
Oh, hey, no foos here.
No foos in the house. So.
Anyone know how to play right tackle?
Right tackle. I don't have the footwork.
Wells does.
Yeah, and you saw that. That didn't work well.
Nah, he'll be fine. No, I think Wirfs will be okay. I mean, first off, he's young, you know, and you bounce back so quick. You know, your body bounces back really quick when you're that young. The guy's still made out of plastic. His back is still made out of rubber bands instead of iron rods.
They will put you know, a splint on it. They will tape it. They will wrap it. He'll be fine. I have a feeling we'll see him out there. They'll shoot him up full of whatever.
I used to know the name of that numbing agent. What was it?
Toradol, wasn't it?
I'm sure. I don't know. I don't really remember. I remember it came out to the forefront when they were doing it to Emmitt Smith. When the Cowboys were doing their sort of like 3 and 4 years runs, and somewhere in the playoffs where, you know, you see Emmitt Smith, you know, running the ball, and his arm would never sort of leave this position. And he was all pumped full of like, you know, numbing agents. But anyway,
that's funny.
Yeah. So right now I'm not too worried about Wirfs, and it looks like we got out of there pretty healthy, as you know, as far as everybody else. And it was nice to see Vaughn and Bernard come up big. Tyler Johnson and Perryman, you know, disappointed, but they weren't really needed. Mike Evans, you know, huge again. Just it's nice to see how far Mike Evans has really come. I mean, he's always talented, but more like the little things that he's doing now. Like, you know, he talked about how he wanted to get more yak, and it took him like 3 years to finally realize once you catch the ball, you don't have to fall down right away.
Go down right.
Yeah, you know, and you saw that last week. You know, and that might have been more of like he needs 1,000 yards to continue his record. But, you know, he's pushing people off him and running people over. Then this week, instead of just sort of going down, he kind of walked around a guy that was going at his ankles and picked up a few more yards there. So sort of see Mike as sort of this more a complete wide receiver. And he's such a threat in the red zone. You know, it's ridiculous. And it looks like him and Brady are really on the same page.
Yeah.
And the best I've seen them probably look. Because I remember when Brady first got here last year, it seemed like Brady was on the page more with every receiver on the whole entire team except for Mike. Like, you know, the most miscommunications and even like short hops or just bad throws where the timing wasn't right, or just a flat out miscommunication seemed to be with Mike. That seems to be all out the window, and so that's exciting to see. But once I saw the Bucs go up by 7, and then the defense shut them down, 3-and-out, I wasn't too worried. And then once we went up 14-0, I'm like, and then, the Eagles had like 17 yards through the first quarter. I'm like, okay, like, this is over.
Well, and they had only had, like, in the first half, 2 plays in Bucs territory. I was like, if you can't get into your opponent's territory, you're going to be in pretty bad.
You're going to have a hard time scoring points.
So
yeah, you have to score. Every scoring play has to be 51 yards or more.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very difficult scenario to overcome. And you think about it, the 2 touchdowns that Philadelphia scored here, one is a busted play, busted defensive coverage, and Boston Scott just ran away from everybody 35 yards. And okay, so you give up 1 touchdown, that when you're up points, it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, I would like to shut out. I'm sure a lot of Bucs fans like to shut out. The defense probably would like to shut out, but they're a playoff team in the NFL. And that's just kind of the way it goes. And for Philly to be able to win this game, they were going to have like 4 or 5 of those plays. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? From like 30-plus yards out to either go in the end zone or get down inside like the 10 or, somewhere around the 15-yard line to be able to make it. But they decided they were going to attack the Bucs like a lot of teams did early on in the year, getting the ball outside quickly. Not even to their playmakers, just getting it outside quickly. Yeah. And then, again, some with the RPOs and stuff. And they decided they were going to try to go down the field 7 yards at a time. And they couldn't do it.
No, they certainly could not. And we will let's get into some of the people that want to talk about this win. I know we've got some guys lined up. So who we got first there, Ren?
We got John.
Oh, John's back.
John from Newport Richie. Ceiling fan John, we like to call him.
What?
What's up? No, you can always see a picture of your ceiling fan. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
Or your what is that, a memorabilia chest you got behind you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
This is actually Shaq Barrett. Signed by Shaq Barrett.
No,
Rieger's on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because he fumbled. Anybody? No.
No, I caught it. Can
I get a ha-ha in chat? Anybody?
It was bobbled.
Where'd you get that Shaq Barrett football?
Oh, I got it from. Remember when the Super Bowl was last year? The little experience thing they had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got it from the memorabilia shop.
Oh, okay, cool.
I also got Mike Allstar little signed mini helmet too over there.
Oh, nice. So what'd you think, man?
I gotta say, great game all around. It really does show like what guys like Levante David, JPP, and Stack really bring to the team. It really because when they're there, their defense really is like they really lock down, and I think that was key because of them we were able to get pressure to Jalen Hurts a lot, and we were able to really force him to run, but really we were able to contain him with that, which if you looked at the game before back in earlier in the season, we weren't quite able to do as well last game. I think we were able to contain them better than we did last time. So that was, and that's a good thing to see. And we forced him to pass, in which we know Jalen Hurts. A lot of people know Jalen Hurts. He's not a good passer. He's not elite. He's not good. If you force him to throw, he's going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And cornerbacks played well. Carlton Davis could have been Wande Barber, picked up a ball, but he needs spider tag on his hand. He needs spider tag or something.
Yeah.
That's why he plays defense.
Yeah, a couple of things you said I think are really important. One, I've talked about this year about how when the Bucs face quarterbacks that run the ball a lot, like a Josh Allen or Heineke or Hurts, that the Buccaneers were getting hurt, especially like on 3rd and longs and stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, they
the
were
Bucs
just
were having
lost all the way for first down.
they were having a hard time containing these guys that can, do some things, and not only do some things with your legs, because, like I don't want to say Matt Ryan, but there's quarterbacks out there that will rush with their legs to get things done. But then there's guys where it's part of their game, and I'm talking about the guys that's part of their game, such as
Big Ben was able to do that, and in his prime, he was able to get out of the pocket, run, extend the play, and able to pass it and stuff like that.
Right. So being able to sort of squash that part of Hurts's game, like you said, forced him to throw the ball, which we saw he's not an elite thrower right now. They just sort of let him the second half of this year sort of open up the whole field, where he was just only reading at half in the beginning of the year. I thought bringing that up, I think that's very important going forward, because it's not only like the Eagles run the ball a lot, all you do is stop the run and win. It's looking to the future where these quarterbacks, when it starts to break down, that try to get outside and pick up, that these plays extend drives, which turn into points. The Bucs had a plan, you could tell, that they weren't going to let Jalen Hurts do that, and it worked, and it was just nice to see, because I felt that was a problem throughout the whole year, really.
Yeah. On defense, we have dogs. Like, Zach Barrett's a dog, Mike Edwards a dog, Jordan Whitehead a dog. And I got to say, Jordan Whitehead, though, I got to admit, that was one of the steals for Jason Licht, though. I'll pick out of the 4th round, he is a steal. That was a steal from us. Great pick by Jason Licht. Offensively, Keyshawn Vaughn, did well. It's nice to see Gio Bernard finally back, and we can really see what he can really bring to the team when needed. So It was good to have him, because he really brings a lot brings a good bit when he is on the field. And so that was good to see. Mike Evans, of course, being like really, really becoming like the number 1 receiver, when now he's the only number 1. He's the only big weapon now, the elite weapon that we have left, really, at wide receiver. So.
Yeah, and not there was ever sort of a thought that he couldn't handle the number 1 role, but it's been a few years since he had to.
Because with Godwin and then Brown, he hasn't been like the main guy.
Right. And Gronk.
And Gronk, and Gronk, played well, did well blocking, and of course, catching, had some good plays. Guys who, I wish Tyler Johnson, I don't know what to say about him. He did disappoint, like you said. He did disappoint me, I was like, ugh. I was like, damn, I'm like, this is your time to shine, man. Like, this is a lot of your time to shine, really show what you got, and you're not really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I still think he's going to come up big in the playoffs and hopefully the Super Bowl. I just think that it was sort of Brady went to him early, and there was just sort of this something was off, and Aikman talked about how he was throttling down, and you could definitely see that. It was like sort of like a stutter step. I think it was because he was reading its zone, so he's like slowing down to get himself directly in the middle of the little hole in the zone, and Brady was throwing him more to sort of catch the ball and put his foot in the ground and go upfield before he got to the other, the other side of that hole in the zone. So, I wasn't disappointed in Johnson. I was disappointed that the connection wasn't there. Like, I don't think it was really either guy's fault. I'm not going to say Johnson is terrible. I'm definitely not going to say Tom Brady's terrible.
Say that, but just right now the chemistry's off. Chemistry is off right now.
Yeah.
And I wish I can see Scooter more. Like, we did see him in the muff punt, but I really do wish I can see him more in the offense right now, especially with guys out.
Right.
I really wish we get to see him more involved, but
it's tough. It's tough because he is, because he's not a guy that you're gonna try and go against defensive backs, because he's not. A lot of defensive backs are bigger than him. So it's not.
And we kind of got guys right now on our offense that kind of does what he does. Sarah Grayson, a sprinter, fast guy. Down the field guy. With
a bad hammy that didn't play today.
Yeah, but we also got Brashad Perriman. He's known as a speedster, too.
Yeah,
He could,
with stone hands, and I think
Yeah.
he had one pass thrown to him today.
One or two, and they're all early.
I think he had all of his good catches saved up in for the game against the Panthers. He used it all in the last game. He used all of his magic powder. The magic powder was used for the last game.
Yeah.
Use the last of his magic UCF powder.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, I just seen if I could get a reaction out of Carney.
He may need to find more in his helmet. He need to look in his UFC helmet. Maybe UCF helmet. Maybe he'll find more.
Well, he's got to go get one of those Galaxy helmets that they have. Get some Stardust.
Yeah, true.
I was gonna say, usually the magic powder that you have in the UCF helmet, they usually call the ATF on that.
Oh no.
Okay, all right. Carney taking shots at that to go at that. Are they the Golden Knights? What the hell are they?
They are no longer the Golden Knights. They are just the Knights.
Okay, UFC Knights. That doesn't go as good.
Yeah.
Who cares? Anything else, John?
They're gold.
What else you got, John? Anything else?
Well, one thing I gotta say though, Josh Wells, he was all right. He was serviceable, and Tristan Wirfs will be back, so that's good. That's good to know. I was scared at first, but it's good to see that there wasn't anything bad. The worst thing I would have seen for Tristan Wirfs if he would have grabbed his knee. That's when I would have been afraid. But when I grabbed his ankle, I was like, okay, that's not too bad. Because that's when, if he would have grabbed his knee, that's when I would be like, oh crap.
You hope it's not too bad. It looks like it's not a high ankle sprain because that's 4 weeks.
Right.
So
yeah, that's when it's really bad. High ankle sprain. That's when you're out for 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's normally a 4-week deal. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens next week with him.
Yeah,
who are you hoping for the Bucs?
Right now we gotta wait till our next opponent. It's either Cowboys, it's either Cowboys, Cardinals, or the Rams.
So who do you want?
Give me Cardinals.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Give me the worst team.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they were the last team to be undefeated.
Yeah.
But they also have fallen apart. They haven't had DeAndre Hopkins. Their running game is more banged up than almost any other team that's left in the playoffs because Connor is hurt, Hedmans is hurt. I did a poll on my Twitter feed right at the end of the game, just saying, hey, who do you want to face next week in the divisional round with Dallas, Arizona, and the Rams as the choices? Arizona 57%, Dallas 28%, the Rams 15%.
Dang.
So.
And I gotta say though, I was afraid. Honestly, the one team I did not want to face in the wild card was honestly the 49ers. Honestly, I did not want to face them.
Well, we'll let Green Bay handle them. Well, let's see if Aaron Rodgers really
they're
is.
a hot team. They're like what happened with us in our last Super Bowl run. But last year's Super Bowl run, they got hot. They're hot right now.
Yeah,
they are.
We'll see, man. All right, John. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks, John.
All right, you're welcome, guys. See you next week when we're on to as I would say. Didn't I tell you though we were on to Cincinnati? I told you not to worry about the Eagles. Told you we're on to Cincinnati.
Okay, I guess you're saying Cincinnati's coming out of the AFC. Is that what this is talking about?
No, we're on to the Cardinals now. We're on to Arizona.
Okay, man.
All
right. See ya.
Get out of here.
All right. We're free no foo up. You want to do our talk about how much money you can make?
Yes, and hopefully you were smart and took the Bucs and laid 7.5 today in the game over the Eagles on BetUS.com. I know Ren did.
I'm always a better after the game's over.
We're always a better when the game's over. But if you took the Bucs minus 7.5, you are a winner on BetUS, and you could be even more of a winner on BetUS, the official sponsor of the PeterCast. If you sign up using our special code. As BetUS.com for 27 years has been paying out all of its winners, and as I mentioned, we got a special code for you here that will allow you to be able to get a little extra scratch in your account. If you go to betus.com and sign up using the promo code PewterC125, again, that's the word pewter, the letter C, and the number 125, you get a 125% sign up bonus. So you go to betus.com, PewterC125, and deposit $100. You get an extra $125 in your account. So you're playing with $225 for just $100. And with the playoffs going now in the NFL, of course, they've got every single game on the docket left all the way up until the big game at SoFi Stadium here in about 4 weeks. Also, the NBA and the NHL regular seasons in full swing, and you can bet on those games. You can bet on the MMA fights like the one last night when the PGA gets started back up. You can bet on rounds of golf. And, of course, you can bet on Ren's favorite, the ponies.
The ponies.
Loves the ponies and loves to bet on the ponies and does it on betus.com. So, again, go to betus.com, enter the promo code, again, Pewter C, that's the letter C, and the number 125. You bet, you win, you get paid with betus.com. And as we've told you, it is the best way to support this show.
Yep. Sign up, put in that code, they pay us money. The end.
That's right. That's how we do it.
I want to address this super chat before we go ahead and bring Nofu up. So it's hard to see Nofu again. Apparently his webcam is, I don't know, it's been ejected into the multiverse. He doesn't have it, as he never does, but no big deal. Steve Munoz says, shout out to you guys, love your coverage, and I feel like I walk away knowing more. How great of a job has Jason Licht done building this roster? Well, I guess I'll start with that. Well, it's done a really good job. Having Tom Brady, doesn't hurt. Getting the players, getting an Antonio Brown, getting a Gronk, getting a Leonard Fournette. Even this year, even though, it didn't work out that much, at least on the field, having Richard Sherman show up. Le'Veon Bell said, he had a big impact last week, because we were vying for the second playoff spot, and Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn went down, and there was nobody else except for Le'Veon Bell, who played like the whole entire second half. Hey, Nofu found his camera. All right, way to go, buddy. And then ended up getting a touchdown. Had to run the ball all the time. So those things, yes. Early on, like it seemed like his free agencies weren't good. We had the Deshaun Jackson debacle, bringing in Robert Ayers, who wasn't a cancer, but then what was the guy? Chris Baker was a cancer, and he was lazy. We brought Curry in from the Eagles, who, when he went back to Philadelphia after those 2 years, he just kind of said, I felt like I was on vacation. It was. But when you're not winning, it's harder to get those sort of like top athletes, the top tier guys. But he's always said that the way he wants to build his team is draft well and re-sign your guys, and that's what he's done. The Golsons, the Davids, just signed, just put Via money up, Marpet, Donovan Smith, obviously Mike Evans. Godwin's will be coming up. Worth hasn't been re-signed yet.
No,
I'm talking about guys
drafting well.
Yeah, drafting well. I mean, yes, yeah, that always helps. But re-signing your own guys and not letting them get away. Well, Quan Alexander got away, but even though it was very heavily incentive laden, I thought Quan Alexander, he got a huge contract, but it was incentive laden, didn't get all of it. I think he was overrated. Didn't really matter about that. Cameron Brate, who was not a draftee but an undrafted free agent, they've signed him twice, once, and then they gave him a huge one
twice,
and then they not only they give him less money, not a classic restructure where it's like, that money we owe you down the road, I'm just gonna give it to you now. Is that okay? Okay, it is. Okay, good. With Cameron Brate, they go, that $11 million we promised you? Yeah, it's like $8 million now, or leave.
now it's 5.5.
Yeah, now it's 5.5 or leave. Like, it's all up to you. But so with the draft and working around, and John Spytek, his right hand man, the head of scouting at the Buccaneers, actually had his first general
GM
manager,
interview, yeah,
GM interview. So we'll kind of see how it goes for Jason Licht after that. He's already lost John Robinson, who went and became the GM of the Titans, and the Titans, since he's got there, have went to the AFC Championship game, taken a quarterback off the trash heap, and now they're the number one seed in the AFC. So obviously he's doing well. I'm selfish. I don't want to see Bowles go anywhere. I don't want to see Leftwich go anywhere. I mean, it's nice here. Like, why would you want to leave? And Spytek stay. So yeah, he's done a great job because he's won the Super Bowl. But you do have to talk about that 2017 draft where I think every player was off the team in 3 years, 4 years. That was Aguayo and Hargraves and Noah Spence and Danny Vitale and some other guys that just didn't was maybe one of the worst drafts by any GM ever anywhere because of the capital spent on a kicker. But besides that, yeah, he's really done well. So I mean, won the Super Bowl, so it's hard to sort of say he hasn't done well, but these last 2-3 drafts, he's really nailed it. We'll see this year. All these guys are sort of like specialty players. We'll see how Hainsey pans out. We'll see what happens with Trask. Joe Tryon seems to be fine, but Darden's still sort of kind of on the bubble. He's sort of learning his way. I think he just has to realize that he's not the fastest guy on the field and has to adjust his game. We'll see what he can do with that. And then Britt, he's born at the wrong time. If this was like 88 to 95, he would have been a first round pick and would have been that big thumping linebacker in the middle that everyone rallies around. And and then Grant Stewart, big hair, no care. I always see him. You can't miss him with that hair. But he doesn't have the ability.
A Subway ad.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the ability to start in the NFL anywhere.
No.
So so we'll see how this one goes. But it was nice that he survived. The very first pick and also had the very last pick. I think he's the first GM to ever do that. So anyway, that's what I think. Anything to add on the old Jason Licht thing?
For me, Jason Light's legacy is going to be defined in 2 categories. You're going to have BT and AT. Before Tom and after Tom. I have that feeling. So we'll see. I look at it. Yes, there's going to be a lot that's going to be made about Jason Licht drafting a kicker in the second round and all of that went down. But he also is the guy that moved up to get Tristan Wirfs. The guy, some of the moves that he has made over the last few years, I think,
or traded down and still got Vita Vea.
Yeah, absolutely. And holding out to get Joe Tryon Shayinka here this past year at 32, getting a guy that you listen to the national experts about it. Joe Tryon should probably have been a top 15 pick, but they were able to get him at 32, and whether or not they've got the answer to who's going to be the quarterback of this team when Tom Brady does finally decide to say goodbye.
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask. We'll see, but I know you were upset that we didn't see Blaine Gabbert today. We did not get a chance to play Yo Gabbert. But
I wasn't upset. I just thought it was dumb.
So
this is why. Like, why are you doing this? Like, it's like when they put it worse back in. Like, why? Like, you don't. Or that push pass down the goal line. Like, look, man, you're the middle of the field's open and Vaughn's running the ball well. Let's do a full motion pitch pass. And like why? Like, why do you have to do that? Like, save that for when you're going to need it. Like, they could have run just basic offense and just as long as they executed, which is kind of stupid because, whatever you run, if they would have executed that push pass, that would have been great too. I thought it was just unnecessary. But anyway, Those are some things that I just thought were unnecessary.
There you go. All right, let's get No Fu in here.
Yeah, I just want to go ahead and address this. What's up, Nofu? 2016 was the worst light, but the rest of the NFL team, yes. If you go back and look at the 2016 graph, it was freaking awful. Like, it was terrible, terrible. There's not very many people in the first round you even know who they are. I think it was the same thing like 2012 or something. It was like, I don't even know who the hell these people are. But it's been a long time. Nofu, what's up, man? I'm glad that I see you got
I
the.
see your face.
Yeah, he got the webcam I sent you through Amazon, I see.
No, this is my iPad that I've used every single time I've been on camera. I can't find the webcam still. Problem with
Oh,
my
so,
iPad is that when I get onto StreamYard, y'all, it's like I'm at max volume, but it's like I can't. It's like someone you're trying to use speakerphone, but it won't go to speakerphone. I can barely hear y'all. Like I
oh,
hear you
okay.
pretty well, so I just choose the computer so I can hear better.
All right,
But,
okay.
I mean, boys, what a game! Like I came into this game nervous, like a little nauseous too, because yes, we got all these guys back, but we had only really experienced losing part of our offense against the Jets and the Panthers. Like, we really hadn't had a challenge to see, okay, can we keep up with the defense? The playoff team? Yes, it's the Eagles, 7 seed, but it's better than the Jets or the Panthers.
Right.
And so I was worried, like, what are we going to do? And then I saw Fournette wasn't going to make it, or Rojo. I'm like, come on. Vaughn, he showed flashes here and there. But, he's got somewhat bricks for hands at times. Or Butterfingers, per se, would be better because he fumbles a good bit. But no, I mean, there's things, you guys have already touched on. There's things that we would like to see better on both sides of the ball. But, I mean, for us to show up in a playoff game where both teams know you lose, you go, your season's over. Like, this is it. You win, you go one more game. It was very good to see us go against the Eagles, who we'd already played, and for us to completely demolish them. Like,
Right.
people, I mean, you might look at it and say this is an average game for Brady, which it could have been, some drop passes. But, I mean, we went into the fourth quarter, and they still had a zero burger on it. We had 31 points. Like,
Right.
it was just so nice to feel. And I'm going to go against what your poll is here, Steve. I actually want the Rams.
You want payback.
Oh, no, it's not just payback against the fans, too, because we went to L.A., all the way on the other side of the country, with a completely decimated secondary, and we only lost 34-24. And we were close neck and neck most of that game. I'd like to see you guys talk some smack, because people keep disrespecting us. Everyone's talking about who's the biggest threat to Green Bay. Rams, 49ers. A lot of announcers will, a lot of guys on air will say, I think it's still the Bucs. But it just seems so laissez-faire how they're talking about us. I'm like, you guys still realize that we're still the defending Super Bowl champs. We're the 2nd seed, so all these teams have to go through us other than Green Bay. We went to Green Bay last year and beat them, and our defense is finally healthy. Like, Sean Murphy Bunting's not there, but the reality is our secondary is not the strength. Our secondary gets strong when we don't give you time to throw.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted to – I think the Rams would be our personal best bet. 49ers, I think, are the scariest. Cardinals, I actually don't think – they're not – I don't think they're scary at all. In the beginning of the season, I actually, before they even lost their first game, I said I think they're kind of pretenders because, like I said, remember way back when I said this, remember what happened with the Steelers last year? They went like 10-0, and then they just completely fizzled out. I said that on the show about the Cardinals. And yeah, now they've even lost players. They've kind of fallen apart. But that's not, I don't want easy. I want to take these guys who've beaten us, who everyone thinks is a better bet to be the Super Bowl champion, and come onto our house this time with a full offense and defense, and let's see you have enough time to throw 20-yard open passes to Cooper Kupp. You might get a couple, but Stafford's going to be on his ass a couple times as well. He's going to be a little bit more skittish in the pocket. So I actually want the Rams. I personally do.
Right, and
if you get the Rams, that means that either the Cowboys or 49ers go against Green Bay. And the Rams are the worst choice to go against Green Bay because they keep whooping their butts in Green Bay. Green Bay has their number like the Saints have our number. So I'd rather have the 49ers or Cowboys take on the Green Bay and take them out, and then we have home field advantage in the championship game. Because I think we can. I don't think we can easily. I just think we have a very good shot at beating the Rams. So yeah.
Dallas can't go to Green Bay. That's already been decided. Dallas wins, they come here next week.
Right.
So
I need then the 49ers need to win.
Yes.
So yeah, I want the 49ers to go to Green Bay and whoop their ass.
Okay.
All
right.
And then we'll take on the 49ers, the team we have not played at all this season, who everyone, Darling Boy, and I think they are right now, like we were last year. but I'd rather play the Rams right now because if the Cardinals win, then the Cardinals go to Green Bay, right?
If the 40
No, if go ahead.
I was going to say if Dallas wins, they come here, and whoever wins tomorrow goes to Green Bay. So either Arizona,
If the 49ers win, they go to Green
automatically
Bay,
go to Green Bay,
and we get
we
whoever
get
wins the Rams
tomorrow.
Cardinals.
All right, so I'm rooting for the 49ers. I mean, if we get the Cardinals, cool. I think it'll be an easier game than the 49ers or Rams. Like you said, but I want the 49ers to go to Green
Hence
Bay.
the poll in the 76%.
Yeah.
I still want it wasn't about who do you want to go face Green Bay. It was about who do you want to see in the divisional round. I want to see the Rams.
I want to see the Cardinals.
I want them. I could beat the Cardinals, cool, but I want them. So, but no, it's a good game. I mean, I'm glad. I'm happy. I still don't know if Sirianni if Arians is still standing in midfield waiting for Sirianni. I don't know.
Oh, he didn't shake his hand?
I don't know. That was the thing is people were making so many memes about it, like Bruce Arians looks like me at the cash register waiting for my mom to come back and tell me to pay for everything. He's just sitting there looking around, doesn't know where Sirianni's at. The cameras couldn't find him.
Are we sure he was looking for Sirianni, or was he looking to swipe Andrew Adams again?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of want it to be true just because then people can stop picking on Brady for not shaking Nick Folk's hand.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was it payback? But, I mean, I'm not mad about the Adams thing. I mean, he's right. Like, you can't – he was about to pull off an Eagles player, and that's a penalty. It's unnecessary roughness. You can't do that. But I honestly, though, I don't think they would have called it, seeing as after Darden got his crap leveled while already being down and then getting smashed in the head in front of a ref, and they didn't call that. I doubt they would have called that penalty. But, no, you guys already covered everything. It's such a good feeling game because it's restored confidence that even with all these players out, we can go up against the playoff team and not just win, but just we can have the argument of like, why is Tom Brady even starting in the fourth?
Right.
Like, that's not a bad thing.
Gabbard.
So it felt good, and it just made me because I didn't know if we would be able to beat 49ers or the Rams or even the Cardinals with their offense, even with people out, be able to stop us. Now I feel like we can we took on a playoff team that was the number one runoff. Can we talk about, listen, I grew up in Orlando, Florida, so I was never in Tampa, but I grew up in Florida weather, and then I moved. But can we talk about how, we know it's for clicks, Ren, but how stupid it is that a reporter 4 days before the game is trying to make an argument about the weather and how trying to make a story about, it's going to be rainy and they have the number one runoff. It's like, dude, I've seen the weather have a storm on one side of the highway and it's bright and sunny on the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was on an Eagles pod on Wednesday, and they brought that up, and that's just what I said. I said, look, man, I've lived here my whole life. Like, if you don't like the weather, give it a half hour. Like, you cannot predict it here. Like, I'm telling you, look, guys, I've lived here my whole life. Like, you cannot predict the weather 4 days out, unless it's a hurricane. Like, you can't do it. And I just brought up the example, it's Wednesday. I was told Sunday was going to rain Monday. It didn't. At all. Mm-hmm. And, and now you're going to project it 4 days out. And I'm like, and I went into, I get it. It's going to do this, that, and blah, blah, blah. You can talk about it, but there's no use talking about it because it's not going to happen. Like it's not going to happen. There's
right.
No
and then the first thing, I flip the game on. I finally get my Fox Sports app working. I flip it on, and it's Aaron Andrews like, we must have had a stroke of luck. It's bright and sunny. The first thing I heard. I was like, of course it is.
Yes, it is.
But, yeah, just to repeat it, we took on this number one run offense. We finally got our defense back, and we completely made them shit the bed. That we did to them what the Saints did to us. Yes, they scored some points. It's garbage time. You can see the defense was pulling up. They weren't trying as hard. Why would you need to? But the only thing I guess I'll be nitpicking on is something I brought up, I think, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. We had two. Shaq Barrett, the interception. Shaq Barrett had one, which is insane, but he's also been out. But our corners, man, drop it and dropping interceptions.
Yeah.
The one that we got that I was actually surprised. I thought actually would have actually been on the 1 yard line because his
with Edwards,
hit the pylon. The ball was actually in the play of field. But other than that, that one was such a slow pass. Anybody could have come and intercepted that. But the other ones, there was like two maybe that were dropped. One by, I think.
There was one was dropped by Davis. Davis had a couple of drops.
Davis had 2 dropped.
And Jamel Dean had one where he was sliding on his butt and it kind of hit off of him and
Yeah, and thank God Trianka tipped that because Dean had fallen down again. And if he hit that tight end in stride, it was early in the game, like the second drive.
Yeah.
And if he would have hit the tight end in stride, that might have. I mean, it wouldn't have went probably, but like they would have been on our side of the field for sure. But.
Right, it changed momentum. It's just I don't give him that one because that would have been a circus catch,
right?
Or anything. But the other ones were just right through their hands. They weren't these diving Larry Fitzgerald catches. Like they were just like there was one that was just lofted up.
Yeah.
DB, I remember DB like reached back like this and just let it swoop right through his hands, and I was like, guys. If you guys
what are you doing?
We will destroy anybody.
Yeah, you catch those, we win by 50.
Right, like
yeah, they're throwing a 50-burger up.
That's my only nitpick is guys stop dropping interceptions.
Right.
Just stop.
So before you go, let me ask you, who's your defensive MVP? It's like a Manny Patinkin interview.
I just want to say something stupid. I honestly, the only person who really stood out to me. I mean, we obviously had the interceptions, but I gotta say Winfield, man.
Okay.
I mean, he was all over the field. Did he not get an interception? I think he got an interception.
No, it was Mike Edwards.
That was Mike Edwards. But he defended so many passes. He actually got a sack. I mean, the dude was all over the field. He brought the energy. Yeah, I gotta say Winfield because it's like, yeah, you can say, oh, Edwards had an interception, Winfield didn't. Well, that's right place, right time. You're following your position. It's the right play at the right time too. But Winfield was everywhere. How many times did you hear Winfield's name in the backfield? How many times did you hear Winfield's name in the pass? So I gotta give it to Winfield just because he's been standing this whole time. He's still smiling. He's still bringing the energy. It's they always say Devin White, Levante David leaders, but it's like Winfield is in his second year, and it's just. That kid is bringing the heat. Like every single play, I feel. I mean, I don't know how accurate it is to say he's my MVP, but I mean, I just heard his name the whole game.
No, I like it.
Yeah,
no, I like it. That's why I asked you because you kept saying like you guys covered everything. So I was just trying to give you a question. I mean, offense, it's going to be Mike Evans or it's going to be Brady, right? I mean, that's your choices.
Yeah, always, yeah.
So I thought, no, I like he got a sack early in the second quarter. I think on the Eagles' third drive, the end of that drive, like you said, he was in the backfield a lot. So with Whitehead tackle for loss and things like that. Right. So it's a good
pick.
Eagles'
game plan is to run. So I mean, he on design quarterback run plays where it's not a sack. He got a couple hits on Hurts as well. Pass deflections. I just, he didn't do anything show-stopping, interception here. He wasn't the Winfield of the Super Bowl, but he was just everywhere he needed to be, the hustle, so I give it to Winfield, 100%.
Yeah. All right, man. I like it. Anything, got anything left before you take off?
No, go Bucs, man. 49ers hopefully win, and Rams, Rams and 49ers.
Yeah, you want the Rams. You want the Rams.
Yeah,
you want the Rams.
Do you not think if they came here, we would completely flip that narrative?
I think, I'm with you, but I think it's because of their defense, not their offense. I think McVay can scheme up against Todd Bowles. I think he's proven it twice, but I don't think Raheem Morris is a good coach. And everywhere he's gone, the people he's in charge of have gotten worse.
Buccaneers head coach Raheem Morris is not.
I mean,
is
people.
The Blue Martini still open? That'll tell you. Oh God, my Youngry story. I think I've told this story on the air when the whole Youngry thing happened. It was I think that was during the preseason that he started coming up with Youngry, and I remember going into the locker room after the third preseason game that year and it was against Tom Brady and the Patriots. And going up to Gerald, we were all getting ready to go up to Gerald McCoy, and Jenna goes, I know that Coach Morris has been doing a whole lot about Youngry. That looked more like Fugly. And I laughed my ass off. Gerald didn't find that very funny.
Perfect. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go to bet whatever. What is it called?
BetUS.com.
Let's put a parlay down. I'm gonna put a parlay on the Rams and the.
Dude, just put 50 bucks down and they'll give you 75. So you have $125 to deal. It's the best one there is. Like a lot of people match it. Ours it matches it and gives you another 25%.
Yeah, right
There
there.
you go.
I mean,
49ers and Rams. Well, the game's already started, so I probably can't. So I gotta do like halftime stuff.
you can do in-game betting.
There you
Yeah.
go. I'll do that.
There you go. You
All
can.
right, gentlemen. Hopefully, we're talking next week in the same attitude.
All right.
yeah.
Thanks, Nofu.
Thanks, Tofu. There you go.
All right, let's bring it home.
Who are you said you want Arizona, yes?
I want Arizona because it's the easiest. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about, if it's not the Saints, if it's not something I completely hate, like I'd rather play, play the Cardinals. I think they're the worst team left.
The only problem is that I think Kyler Murray is Jalen Hurts, but better. So
No, I don't think he takes care of the ball enough.
well, I'm Cardinals or Cowboys. I don't want to see the Rams. They're the least.
It's so weird with the Cowboys. It's like, hey, they led the league in scoring. Yes, but that's because they score 61 game and 0 the other. Like, who's going to show? Like, we led the league with 30 points a game. Yeah, but I mean, you score 51 one week and 9 the next. Like, it's like, I'm not really sure.
But that's so I'm okay. I'm okay with the Cardinals. I'm okay with the Cowboys mostly because we beat a fully healthy Cowboys team first game of the year.
Right.
So you do that, and that's a team that doesn't have Michael Gallup, and Zeke Elliott is beat up, and so I'm okay with seeing the Cowboys as well for a second time. So all right, but that'll be next week, and we'll see who that is here next. I believe that we're going to end up being the Saturday game, so just
okay.
Just be aware that
plan your week out, guys.
Yeah. So I would assume that the Green Bay game will be Sunday at 4:30. So we'll probably be Saturday 1:00. That's my guess. So we'll see what happens there. So let's bounce out of here. How can people find you, Ren?
Best place to find me is on Twitter at the Pewtercast. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you think your tweet is too hot and don't want to put it out there on the Twitter sphere, feel free to slide in my DMs, and we'll talk Buccaneers football with you there as well, too.
I just watched Mike McCarthy hit himself in the head, which made me laugh very, very hard. Sorry.
Sure it wasn't Bruce Arians over there whacking him in the head?
No, it's definitely Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys keep moving backwards, which kind of makes you laugh. He's had now, I think, three straight plays with a false start. They've gone from 2 straight plays. They've gone 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 14, which just kind of makes me laugh. So you can catch me. I am at Steve Carney. Of course, check out thepewtercast.com, thepewtercast.live for all the information about the podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, again, like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching or you're listening to us on the podcast, hit the subscribe button, whatever platform you're using, and of course, leave us ratings and reviews. Thank you to everybody who showed up here today, the guys that came on, of course, John from Newport Richie and No Foo. Thank you to our sponsor, BetUS.com. Thank you to the Fansided Network for hosting the podcast. And until next time, go buck yourself.
Sorry.
You did it again!
It's been a while. I was thinking of all the stuff I had to do and all that. Oh, I know what it was. I was going to ask you about like the Rays and USF basketball, then I decided not to.